Hey everybody, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure that I'm like connected and everything. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Let the people get in here. Give people some time to get in here. Let me let the people also know that we are live right now. Shout out to everybody, guys. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, please, and thank you. We live now. Hey. Welcome. Oh, let me shout out our new member. We got some new members here. Dizzy, how are you? Thank you for renewing your membership. Shout out to you, Dizzy. Thank you. Unbreakable Leslie. Shout out to you. Thank you for becoming a new member. Shout out. All right. So there's a couple things, two things that we're going to be covering today, depending on how things go, right? Because I don't expect a lot of people to be at court today, but we are going to do our best to kind of cover ground with everything that's happening. Let me also let the people of the Discord know that we're live. Everyone, we live now. Good morning. How is everybody doing? I got my coffee. I got my drink. Good morning. Let's go live now. Oh, we need to get our energy up. Yo, I need to get my energy up because I'm still a little slow today. The caffeine hasn't quite hit me. Nothing has hit me. Hey, Belen. Hey, no, you are not. Smurgy is probably, I'm the one that's usually late. I'm the one. Good morning. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody from Cali. Welcome. You said it's been a while. Your hair looks well. Thank you so much. Hey, girl, how you doing? Shout out to y'all. Thank you. Yes, it's a summer color. You know what I mean? It's a summer vibe color. We had to lighten it a little bit because it's like, when the we're going to do another color in the fall when the fall gets here. But for now, for the purposes of summer, we got to get a summer vibe, Got to get a summer vibe. Okay, why don't we get started real quick? I saw that LA Mag did actually, no, I'm on time, girl. Maybe 5 minutes late, but I'm on time. I saw that LA Mag, should we? Maybe we should. Hold up, y'all. Maybe we should do an intro to give the people some time to get in here. Because I do need to share this with everybody and their mom. Share this with everybody and your mom, y'all. Let's go live right now. Here we go. Ooh, I don't know what happened. Lord have mercy. Okay, let's. Hold up. Wait a minute. Bruh. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits in the chat. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits.
We need a extended what is it, club remix of the intro. We got to figure something to do. We got to add a little bit more. But anyway, some people are like the intro is too long, and I'm like, yeah, sometimes it can be. It can be very long. But welcome everybody, guys. Make sure you guys are liking and hyping. Yeah, we had a little issues with the sound, so I had to like reconnect and then start the intro again. Welcome. Shout out to everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful June 17th Wednesday. Guys, happy New Year's like tomorrow because the year, I mean, listen, it's like we're almost there. Christmas is tomorrow. New Year's is tomorrow. You know what I mean? Yeah, I heard people want me to get like a shorter version. I don't know how you shorten that version. I don't know. I have to think about it. People do say that the intro's long. Some people do complain about it, but you know what? There's this thing called like fast forward. Back in the VHS days, that's what we would do, fast forward. Some of you people never, hit the rewind button when you had to rewind your VHSs. I worked at a Blockbuster at one point. That was so annoying. It really was. You said, my goodness. Yes. Thank you. All right. Okay. So first of all, Jenny G, thank you so much for being up. 17-month member, love. I feel like it's been longer than that. My goodness. Thank you, love, for supporting my channel. Rosa says, happy National Day to my fellow Icelanders. Ooh, shout out to you. Thank you. All right, guys, we are going to get right to it. So LA Mag has an article for us. Okay, so we definitely have a hearing today for the D4VD situation. Now, and Celeste Rivas and, Anthony, I have to stop calling him D4VD, but it's kind of hard not to because I don't know. It's like the in-betweens and that's kind of at first I couldn't even say D4VD because I was like, why does this guy have a 4 in his name? It was so hard for me. I never not being a fan of the music, not knowing the music, but literally we have to probably start calling him by his first name, right? David Anthony Burke. That's his first name. Okay. That being said, though, we do have a hearing today and we are here live for it. I did see I think it was it Mark the Shark? We'll probably watch some of his as well, his stream. I didn't see anybody else out there, so I'm like, there's a lot happening right now in the world of true crime. We also have the Gilgo Beach sentencing today, so we're going to be like back and forth on that because as we're getting updates for D4VD, we could probably transition while we wait for Gilgo Beach as well. For those that have no idea what that is, well, that is the Long Island serial killer. Okay, a man who took the lives of a lot of women, and I don't know, man. There's some crazy ish around that case that does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. His family is like, I don't know, man, something off about that family in general. Yeah, today's the sentencing, so we have a lot. Then we also have, which I didn't put on my title, the Luigi Mangione. Was it real quick before I go off? Luigi Mangione has a, let me see. There's something happening there. As well. My goodness, somebody has a Luigi Mangione page and he has 475,000 followers. I don't know if this is the real Luigi Mangione, but that being said, though, yes, people are in court right now with the Luigi Mangione situation, and we are here for it as well to keep an eye out. Okay. But let's start over here. I did see that Megan Cuniff is also out there as well, so we're following her as well. For the reporting purposes, of course. Okay, so LA Mag writes us, shout out to Lauren Conlon. She says, Singer D4VD to return to court as murder case moves closer to preliminary hearing. Okay, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the preliminary hearing just keeps getting like pushed back. First it was like, all right, guys, we're doing it in May. Wasn't it like on a Friday? And then it was like, no, never mind. We're not doing it in May. We're doing it next month. Then it's like, okay, wait, we got to do this over here, so we might have to push back. Are we going to have the preliminary hearing on June 29th? That is the question that I have. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. So Wednesday's status conference is expected to focus on discovery and scheduling before prosecutors lay their case against Burke at the preliminary hearing on June 29th. 9th. Okay. So singer D4VD is set to return to a Los Angeles courtroom Wednesday for a status conference in the shocking criminal case where he is accused of murdering 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The hearing is expected to focus on discovery, whether both sides remain on track for the high-stakes preliminary hearing later this month. Now, let's do a little bit of like a recap. What happened last time? Well, I believe wasn't it 41 or 40 plus terabytes or something like that of information that they were trying to get that the defense hadn't received yet. Beth Silverman, she did this little thing where she was like, well, you know how to get the discovery. You know how to do, I don't have to give you a tour of how we do things in the law, right? She kind of gave that, right? And his attorney was like, well, okay, well, we have 40. That was the first hearing. And then they went from that to saying, well, we only got 10 at the next hearing. We only got 10 out of the 40. Like, it's taken us a while. I guess it took them a month and a half to download things. Here I am thinking that you could just download, like, download, everything gets downloaded into a file. That's it, right? I guess it's not really like that. I guess you really do have to, there's a process to it, right? What is all that terabytes? What is it? Footage of what exactly? Thank you. That's right. 40. Look at Bad Ashes Like Rabbit. It is 40 terabytes. That's right. It was 9 terabytes. They only had like 9, I think, right? Literally. So I have to kind of wonder. I'm like, well, damn. Okay, it takes them that long. There isn't an easier way. Like, they have to download everything. Why can't they just get like a hard drive and here you go, here's everything? But is everything usable? I don't know. You said, don't be surprised if this gets another delay. I'm starting to think that that's what it is. Blair needs more time. And Beth said all possible charges have not been filed. This won't go to trial before January. And we're talking about January 2027. Guys, we're probably going to go to trial like next year. And you know what? I mean, for me, time-wise, of course we want the trial, but like that would work perfect because then I could travel out there and then we could really get some footage and stuff like that. We can get our little, permit to be able to go into the courtroom and report and whatnot. I'm here for it. I'm so here for it and ready for it. And Baby Bunny will be a little bit older, so it'll be a little bit different to manage and whatnot. You said, yeah, that doesn't take as long as the deal to take 40 TB. It's going through all the data that takes long. That's what I thought clearly, Shelly, that it's like when she says that they only had 9, is it that they were only able to download 9? Or what's taking long is what they're reviewing is only 9 out of the 40? Or did they receive everything? I was so confused by that, honestly. He said, no, the state cannot receive a hard drive because of the nature of the evidence. Okay, look, see, I didn't know this. She has to go to the courthouse and see if it's in an isolated room with no internet. You said because of the nature, not because of like not because of the what is it? No electronic issue. It's the nature. It's what's in the evidence that would make it hard for her to be able to get all this stuff. Correct? Am I hearing that correctly? That's crazy work. I mean, the defense. Gotcha. Because it's, the ABC Sams. I have to say different letters, y'all, because YouTube, this is educational content. We are educating. We are reporting. That's what we're doing, okay? They are getting really tight on the things that we have to say, so I do apologize that I don't mean to say different words, but we have to do what we have to do. Okay. So the hearing is expected to focus on discovery and whether both sides remain on track for high stakes preliminary hearing later this month. The 21-year-old disgraced performer. I love it. She said disgraced performer because everybody's like giving it a different name. No, disgraced performer. Real name, David Anthony Burke, has pled not guilty to a series of disturbing charges stemming from the September 2025 death of the Lake Elsinore teen. Burke is charged with first-degree murder, lewd acts upon a child under the age of 14, and unlawful mutilation of human remains. Prosecutors have also alleged it's special circumstances that killing was carried out to prevent Celeste from reporting alleged SA or ruining his career and make Burke eligible for the DP, y'all, the DP, and if he is ultimately convicted. Okay. Wednesday hearing is not expected to dive too deeply into the facts of this case. Okay. So we're really, it's just a status hearing. But let me tell you something. I don't know about you guys, but I have been, so, well, am I surprised? Like the last hearing, like there's always something that gets thrown in by the prosecution. Example, when they said that he had child prawn, okay, in the that was released, right? When they said that, like there's little nuggets that the prosecution will release, or even the fact that they say they're ready to file more charges. I mean, even that is like, whoa, what? So even in these little status hearings that are just like updates to let people know, kind of like the update of what's happening, you never know what they go release. Like they always be releasing something. You know what I mean? You said, sorry, the defense cannot be handed over this evidence. Blair has to see every single piece of evidence in that isolated room. First liberties, but she can't take, okay, so this goes back to laws of evidence. Correct me. This goes back to like kind of like the how they handle, right? So they're not able to take any of this, right? So that when they're like the defense is looking at this, they can't look at this independently. They actually have to be there, set up a time with the DA to actually schedule to review all this information with the DA. Is that correct? I think I'm correct about that. Let me know. You said, It said, stop sensory. We trying, man. We trying. Velveeta, you got to be careful how you say these words. Stop trying to stop the ruining of his reputation by ruining his whole ass life. You couldn't make this ish up. Tell it, Patricia. Tell it, Patricia. Shout out to Patricia. Wednesday's hearing will determine if they're ready for the preliminary hearing. That's right. That's right. But we're asking some like questions, right? Because we're asking about the process, as far as like, I remember when we covered the Diddy trial, there was this thing where Agnifalo's team had a set up time to meet with the prosecution, with the government, to review this evidence. There was issues with the stuff that was happening there, and they had 90 terabytes, guys, nowhere near 40, right? Like they had more. Okay, so there's that. So the prosecution handing them devices with CSAM would be a felony distribution. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, well, they're not able to walk out of the room with, the information. You said, nope, all the obscene material have to be viewed at the courthouse and cannot be copied for the defense to take home. She can sit with David and say, well, it sure looks like you, screwball. I think that goes into laws of evidence, right? Like they have to go into like a mutual place, which at this point would be the courthouse. They have to get David out of the facility. David has to sit there with his attorney and review every piece of evidence that they have, to basically make a defense. And First Liberty, she's not going to call him no screwball. She's going to be like, well, how did you accidentally come about this information? You know how it is. Anyways, Wednesday's hearing is not expected to dive too deeply. Okay. Instead, the status conference are typically used to address outstanding discovery issues, scheduling matters, and ensure both the prosecution and defense are prepared to move forward. The next major hearing is set for June 29th, when Burke is scheduled to appear for a preliminary hearing expected to last up to a week. Prosecutors will be required to present enough evidence to convince a judge there is a probable cause to believe Burke committed the crimes charged. If the burden is met, the case will continue to proceed towards trial. Okay. So Lauren Conlon did post on her X account. Let me see. And like I said, we're going to go to Megan Cuniff and Lauren Conlon because both of them have been, I see Megan Cuniff on it as well. Let's see. Lauren Conlon. My goodness. Shout out to Lauren Conlon. Okay. She's also talking about Mangione, man. She's all over the place. Shout out to her. 33 minutes. So now switching gears, she said, switching gears to the D4VD hearing in Los Angeles, which should be promptly which should begin promptly at 8:30 a.m. Taylor Praise, so we might have to see this person, will be in the courtroom, will report on any significant updates and statuses. Okay, well, we're going to be following her if she's going to be on it as well, okay? But let's go back a little bit. She says, singer D4VD's real name, David Anthony Burke, is scheduled to appear in the court tomorrow for a status conference, okay? Now, here's my question. Are we really going to be set for a preliminary on the 29th? I don't know. I wonder. Maybe we might have to vote on that. These types of hearings tomorrow are typically used to address discovery scheduling matters and ensure both sides remain on track to proceed with the preliminary hearing as planned. It starts at 8:30 Pacific. Now, let me say this. When we were talking about D4VD last time, we talked about Blair, okay? We talked about Blair probably doing an exit at some point. Maybe we need to start talking about that. Is it possible that she might be like, I'm out of here, exit, I'm out? Because even Bruce Rivers said that. He's like, I don't think she's going to be hanging out there for too long. So I do wonder. Let me know. You said, did any of our followers go to court? Any of the followers go to court, to the courthouse today? Yes, they did. You said D4VD cannot say his lawyer, it wasn't me. He said, it wasn't me. It wasn't. I'm like, no, you can't. Nothing vital. You're good to jump in. You said, I think his trial is going to be crazy. Yes, it is. No, we're still waiting to figure out. You said Bruce Rivers says she won't stay. That's what Bruce Rivers said. That's what I'm like, is he going to have the same lawyer? Hey, Chico, at the end of this, can she bounce now? Could she be like, this is, I don't want to do this anymore, or I got my pay and I'm out? Like, I just wonder about this. He missed a trick there. He should have called himself David, as in David Anthony Burke ID. Gotcha. You said if she does, it will be viewing the material. After viewing the material, she's going to be like, I can't defend this. And she steps out, right? Let me know. Anyways, okay, so let's get into this. So Burke has pled not guilty to charges, including first-degree murder. All right, let me ask you guys another question in the chat. What would you guys do if David decides to change his plea and he says, I'm not going to do this? I don't think his ego would let him do that. Like, I think his ego really believes that, but what if he says, I'm just going to plead guilty? Would that surprise you? Would you be like, whoa, what the hell? Let me know. To murder, to what he's being charged. What if he says, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and plead guilty. I'm gonna save the Los Angeles money. I'm gonna save this family, the grief of going through all of this. You wouldn't be surprised, Ava says. Okay. Nothing would shock me at this point. Listen. Yeah, Dita's like, David, your attorney says you're on your own. You never know, man. I mean, I didn't think Jake Haro was going to be like, oh, guess what? And right in the court, said it in front of everybody. Said it would surprise me, but it wouldn't be for the best. But it would be for the best for the family. I don't know. Highly surprised personally. I don't think he would do it because of an ego thing. I think that this guy really believes. He really believes that he's untouchable. I truly believe that. Okay. So he pled not guilty, including to first-degree murder, lewd acts upon a child under the age of 14, unlawful mutilation, and will report back with any significant developments. And she gave us a little screenshot, okay? So again, we are set. I know it says preliminary hearing, but it's a status hearing, just so people are aware. We're set at 8:30. It is 9:01 now over there in Cali. Shout out to everybody. So we should be getting here some pretty good updates here pretty soon. Now I want to go back to because it looks like her name is Taylor. Is it Presley? I've never in my life heard of her. She might be new. And it looks like she is. She's got new followers. So she might be doing this kind of new out there. So I don't know if she went to the hearing, but she appeared on the Surviving the Survivor podcast. And then after this, we're going to jump over to Mark the Shark and see what is going on out there.
Room as he has been at every hearing. He's been very casual, very relaxed looking. The one thing I saw new today was that he gave a little wink to his attorney, assuming he just seemed very casual. Came into the courtroom as he has been at every hearing. He's been very casual, very relaxed looking. The one thing I saw new today was that he gave a little wink to his attorney, assuming he just seemed very casual.
He gave a little wink to his attorney. Okay, well, I guess he winked at the attorney. I don't know, man. Thoughts and opinions? So I see that Mark the Shark has ended his stream because he's probably in the courthouse now, and that's where he's walking to. I did see that he was driving out there. Shout out to him. And again, we are just reviewing just to see what's up. I don't see Flojo out there. It'd be great. Or even Pinche Becky, shout out to them. You know, of course, this was kind of like an impromptu. I am going to message them on the 29th. I'm sure Flojo already knows, but I'll see if Becky would be available to go. I know we'll support her if she's able to go to the hearing. That would be amazing.
Blind spots I can't see.
You said, yeah, winking during a murder case. Because that's just a normal thing to do, right? Because that's what you do. Girl. I don't know. What is he so sure?
You got to text the YouTube number.
Yeah.
I'll have one of my mods drop it.
Flojo, I will write you your doctor's note. Please excuse Flojo from work. He is very, very sick. Okay? He is very sick. He's so sick he can't even. He's sick. Oh my God. You said winking at one's attorney of law seems that they're conspiring and flippant. You know, I don't know, because it's like I'm just thinking. So, okay, let me ask you guys a question, because I know I got some Mangione supporters here. If you believe that Luigi Mangione is being set up, or he's innocent, or he's a you know, he did something great, right? If he winked at Mark Agnifilo, or, you know, Mrs. Agnifilo, would y'all feel like there's a conspiracy going on? Let me know. Let me know. You said Mark had a problem with his car. He had to walk to the court. Hopefully he made it. I hope he made it on time too. See, Kiss? Now, how do you see? So if Luigi Mangione, which I got so much hate after I said this, y'all got so mad at me. I said that Luigi Mangione, shout out to Tinkle Tits, because I don't know where Tinkle Tits is at. Shout out to him. Hope he's doing okay. I said Luigi Mangione looks like Zac Efron when he played Ted Bundy in that sweater, because they got the same like look, aesthetic. I got so much hate. So many people got mad at me because I said that. Anyways, I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, you said absolutely not. He could have had something in his eye. Oh, Abraham, that's right. Luigi Mangione winking is nothing but something in his eye. You sit for thank you. Okay, like he started looking to Luigi Mangione's. He's got this like facial thing, you know, like he just looks like he looked like Zac Efron from the Ted Bundy movie when he played the Ted Bundy character. And people are like, "No, Rabbit, how dare you?" I'm like, guys, Ted Bundy. I mean, horrific person, but he wasn't a bad looking dude. I mean, this is why he was able to entice people to, you know, talk to him and everything. He wasn't a bad look. I mean, he was going to run for, I think, office in Utah or something like that. He was very charismatic. So these are the kinds of people you got to be careful with. Yeah, he winked because it's guilty in his eyes. That's what I got, because I'm unsubscribing. No. Mark did send a message that he was inside the courtroom. Perfect. Thank you so much. So we'll probably get some inside the courtroom updates. I'm looking online to see if anybody, well, let's be very real. They can't text inside. So the only people that can text, let me go to Megan Cuniff, because she might be able to message her Twitter, not us, but her Twitter. So he says, good morning. This was 40 minutes ago. Good morning from Los Angeles, where capital murder defendant David Burke, aka D4VD, has a status conference at 8:30 a.m. ahead of his preliminary hearing scheduled June 29th. I'm going into Judge, is it Charlene Olimendo's courtroom soon. We'll let you know what happens. Cool. So shout out to Megan Cuniff. You guys make sure you check out Megan Cuniff as well. She's also covering Luigi Mangione as well. Let's see what else. Look, that's Karen Agnifilo. See, these are the Agnifilos. Luigi Mangione was MIA in his highly anticipated hearing this morning because of the Manhattan DA forgot to ask the MDC to bring him to court. Mistakes happen, says Karen Agnifilo. Oh, well, then there's that. So shout out to her. So while we wait, and I'm going to be waiting here, you said, no, sorry. Baldoni doesn't look like Ted Bundy. Mangione or Baldoni? You said, not a good comparison. The guy Luigi already allegedly killed was not an innocent young girl. D4VD is less sympathetic of the figure. No, I'm not making them as a comparison. I'm saying my comparison was to Luigi Mangione to Zac Efron when he played Ted Bundy. That was the comparison. But then the question that I had for you guys was, okay, if you're saying that, like the lady said right there, that he winked at his lawyer, and I asked you guys if Luigi Mangione winked at Karen or Mark Agnifilo, would you guys have an issue with that? That's what I wanted to know. That's it. Yeah, let me see. Mark's truck was, I hope it doesn't break down. He had it parked soon. Okay, gotcha, Tiff. Thank you. Yeah, so nowhere near, we're not comparing the crimes. Different kinds. Yeah, it was thank you, Abraham. It was a physical appearance comparison. Thank you. Very much different. You can't compare those two crimes. Completely different. You can't just leave Luigi Mangione behind. That's right. How do you forget Luigi Mangione? I don't know. You said either wink bothers me, it's meaningless. Okay, well then there you go. It's meaningless. That's the question that I have for everybody. Why would we get hung up on a wink? I don't know. You guys tell me. You don't think D4VD would confess? Well, listen. First of all, shout out to your profile pic. I was gonna say Danny Tanner. D4VD won't confess. D4VD won't confess. That's what you're saying. Okay. Listen, you never know, man. I don't think he would. I don't think it's even about a confession. Do you have to confess to plead guilty? What is the requirements for that? If you say you don't want to talk about what exactly happened, I don't know. You said both crimes are bad. No one has the right to take the life of another person, period. I think so. I agree. Right? And both individuals will get their day in court. Correct? So I think, make that what you will, if you know what I mean. Both individuals will get their day in court. They'll get, to defend themselves or not. Everything will be exposed and or told. With that being said, now we are, of course, waiting to hear some updates, but I do want to tell you guys what is happening on the side of the Gilgo stuff. You got the Gloria Allred lady wearing red speaking for the victims. Some of you guys may not be familiar with this case. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't, while we wait for a D4VD update.
Right here. Nicolette read her statement describing how the loss of her mother, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, has affected her life.
Oh, man.
Dylan Hagen read his statement and discussed the loss of his mother, Maureen Brainerd Barnes, when he was just, an infant? 1 year old. Elizabeth Rizzo.
Ooh, their sound is horrible.
Powerfully about the impact of the loss of her niece, Megan Waterman, and how it changed her life. Liliana Waterman spoke about her beloved mother, Megan Waterman, when Liliana was only 3 years old. Jasmine Robinson spoke about the loss of her cousin, Jessica Taylor, and how much she missed.
Oh, they got to fix the sound. Let me stop right here. So I do see that some people are not familiar with this situation. So Rex Heuermann is the is known as the Gilgo Beach serial killer. Okay, so he was a architect in, I think, like a Manhattan office, right? And he preyed on women, and he was preying on S workers primarily. And he was basically preying on them for like I think it was like what, 17 or if not longer, 17 or 18 years. And this was pretty much a very, very much high profile case investigation. They were able to use DNA and cell phone, right? He did plead guilty recently to like 7 of the murders. He admitted to the 8th like this year, okay? And this year, this month, today, he's supposed to be sentenced for all of the multiple murders. He's supposed to receive like a consecutive terms of sentence, life terms, without the possibility of parole, right? His family, Rex's wife, Asa, and daughter, essentially, when they were doing the investigation, they found that he committed some of these crimes in his home. So there is a lot of questioning about how much the wife knew, whether she was part of it, participated. There's a lot, even though they said that they couldn't find any. But to me, I don't know, man, this shit don't make sense. There's a lot of people out there, victims that have not, that he has not confessed to, but have been somewhat either linked to. We're not there yet. That's kind of where we're at. So I think it's important to put this out here. So today is the sentencing and everything that, it's all being kind of exposed. This is just some of the victims. There's some people out there that, some women that have not, and he has not fessed up to. Okay. And for those, I bet you if I showed you a picture of what he looks like, you guys would be like, yeah, I know who he is. It's this guy right here. I mean, he gives me math teacher. He's got the math teacher haircut. Shout out to the math teachers, but just like very math teacher, very like he's tall. There's so much to it. There's been so many Dateline episodes to this. Hulu recently did a documentary, and it's kind of upsetting because his wife, like they got divorced, right? But they still talk to each other. They got divorced basically just to move assets around so she wouldn't lose out on money. So she got paid for the interviews where it's like all these victims haven't been, the families haven't been compensated. They haven't received anything. This would be the equivalent of, if you think of Mackenzie Shirella, right? Dom's sister, what she is advocating for. Why is it that the killers, okay, the perpetrators, these people get to benefit, and their families, okay, because I'm sorry that your father chose this kind of a lifestyle. Why should you get to, benefit from all of this when we can't even, the victims don't get their parents. They don't get any compensation. They don't get any advocacy. They don't get anything, right? That's upsetting. So anyways, just giving you guys an update of what that is. So of course, everybody's out there and it is going down live and whatnot. You said there is an update. There isn't an update yet. So I'm looking, I promise you. So it's just something to kind of think about. You said his wife got paid. Yes, this one. I don't know how much she got paid, but I do know that there are wonderful people out there advocating, like Mr. John Ray, okay, out there advocating, representing victims of this man, who, this is like horrible. And I did watch the Hulu documentary, and I said, I'm sorry, like some may write about the wife, some may write, I don't know. I could be completely off, but some ain't right. Something's telling me that her DNA was found in the victim. Okay. So the crimes happen at home. I don't know about you guys, but I know what's going on in every room in the house. Nobody's allowed to lock me out of a room. Okay. So I don't know what kind of a pushover she might be, or, whatever. She might have gone through some things. Sorry. But you're not locking me out of a house. Okay. I'm going to every room. That's what I got to say. Okay. All right. So be naughty says, okay, I'm trying to see because people are saying there's new updates. Where are your new updates? Anyways, we didn't finish the article, but LA Max says the allegations against Burke have shocked and disturbed the public. According to the prosecution's 14-year-old Celeste Rivas disappeared in September 2025 before her body was later discovered inside of the front trunk of a Tesla Model Y in Hollywood. Authorities allege Burke essayed her essayed the teen before killing her and attempting to conceal the evidence of the crime. Burke has denied the allegations and maintained his innocence. During the last court appearance, which Los Angeles Magazine attended, attorneys mainly addressed the ongoing exchange of discovery and preparations for what is expected to be a very high-profile preliminary hearing. Burke remains presumed innocent until proven guilty in court. Los Angeles will be in attendance and provide updates on any significant developments emerging from today's hearing. I think they have the correspondence there as well. You know what I mean? So this is today too. Thank you. The boss bitch says the Tepin murders. This is out of Ohio, guys. Is scheduled for a hearing today. I'm telling you, it's like going down in the true crime world today. So this is in Ohio. This is the surgeon that killed his ex-wife, who had been they've been divorced for 5 years, and her husband. He went into the home and the kids were there too. Very sad situation. Okay. I'm refreshing for updates, guys. I don't see anything quite yet, but we are refreshing for updates. If you, hold up. Let's see. Oh, any updates? Let me see. I think Mark has some updates for us real quick. Shout out to Mark real quick. All right.
Hello.
From
Don't run me over.
where on Twitter? Tell me. Drop an address. Not an address, but drop where.
Good. Just in downtown LA. What up? Downtown LA. Just got out of the courtroom. Look at they got those self-driving cars here.
Update. Hold up, guys.
Creepy.
Let me put Mark on mute real quick. So Lauren Conlon updated said, Celeste Rivas Hernandez murder case update. The preliminary hearing in the David case has been pushed back once again. It's been pushed back once again. That's what he's showing us there. Lord, hold up.
So I was just in the courtroom with David. I actually locked eyes with that guy. They had that was fast. They had to change the courtroom. Hey, Heel, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for signing up. They had to change the court where it was. They had to change it to the other side of the building. They had an emergency. What's it called? Should I go this way? Yeah, they had an emergency, so they had to change it literally last minute.
He shows us status July 7th.
Oh, let me make sure I'm going the right way.
Oh, man. Mark says, or I'm going to wait for Mark a little bit. We're only 7 seconds out.
Oh, yeah, it is this way. Dang, I'm going in a circle. What up, Stats? Let me go this way.
Okay. All right. He slowed down.
Yeah, that was fast.
That was quick. I told
downtown LA.
First Liberty's called it. He said there was going to be pushbacks, guys.
The new dates are July 7th for a status hearing, and then July 21st is the prelim.
Okay.
Beautiful downtown LA. There's that building. I'm going in circles, but there's a building I was just in, 9th floor.
Okay.
How did he look? Hey, Ranch Toast. So
everybody got the dates, right? Hold up.
Let me make sure I'm going the right way, and then I'll do some commentary.
All right, let me pause him real quick. So the preliminary hearing has been pushed back once again. Thank you. At the hearing this morning, the court granted a defense request to continue the matter after reviewing sealed. Okay, here we go. After reviewing sealed declarations, findings, good cause for the delay. Okay, so the court revealed sealing declarations and finding good cause for the delay. The preliminary hearing is now set for July 21st as a go date, with defense counsel indicating they will accommodate witness schedules. Before the hearing began, attorneys were called into the judge's chambers when the judge took the bench around 8:40 a.m. She appeared exasperated and remarked, "What a morning." Did something else? Well, because they had to change courtrooms. Something must have happened, you guys, honestly. Okay, she said, "What a morning." D4VD was brought into court at approximately 8:54 a.m. He appeared clean-shaven, smiled, and nodded at the judge before taking his seat and briefly conferred with counsel. The judge also apologized for the last-minute courtroom change caused by a maintenance issue around 8:25 a.m. The court referenced an on-the-record but sealed chambers discussion before granting the continuance. Prosecutors requested an additional status hearing ahead of the preliminary hearing, and the court ultimately set the hearing for July 7th. The mood in the court was noticeably different. Both sides appear serious but relaxed, and the overall atmosphere felt far less tense than in previous appearances. That was like quick though. Yeah, so they had a chambers on record. Okay, so it's going to be somewhere typed up in a transcript on record. It's not like they put the white noise and it went shh. They spoke. They talked about what was sealed. That's what it sounds like, but they needed to do it in chambers. It was Vicky. I think it was a maintenance issue. So they must have pushed everything back. That's what they said, it was a maintenance issue. And it happened at 8:25. He was scheduled for 8:30. Did somebody forget to turn on the heater, the air conditioner? Well, it wouldn't be the heater if it's the air conditioner. I don't know. Something happened. Oh my gosh, they can't just push back to another room. Let me tell you, I mean, having gone to court when things are happening like maintenance emergency stuff, listen, it can ruin the whole day. So I don't know. You could prepare for another room, man, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier said than done when it does happen. You said, do we know what yes, I think I answered that. If the emergency was a reason to court, yes. Remember, Beth Silverman said all possible charges have not been filed. Yeah. This isn't going to trial before January. Doesn't look like it, guys. Like, I honestly think we're not going to. You know what? I think it's going to be like March of next year. Literally. You said can't see him doing more. The pity. Here we go with all the sealing stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's sealed for us, but they had, everything was recorded. They had a transcriber there. It sounds like. I thought they pushed back because of the courtroom. No, you're fine. Maintenance. So D4VD sounds like he has it in the bag. I do not think so. Let's see. What a waste. He said in an in-camera discussion transcribed for the public, though. Well, at some point, I'm sure we'll be able to find out what that conversation was like. It could be in transcripts. It won't be available right now, though, right? But anyways, so let me see what Mark has to say. Hold on. Here we go. Going back a little bit.
The curls. But it was pretty fast. But yeah, he didn't look worried. He looked calm. He looked freshly shaven. He had that, the puffy curls. Could have been an act. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Yeah, could be. But when we left, man, I looked at him and he looked me right in the eyes. I was like, whoa. But I didn't veer off. I wasn't scared or nothing. I just looked at him. Okay, there we go. They're going the right way. I made like a complete circle. Why the continuance? Probably because there's just so much discovery, data. That's my guess. Yeah, it was intense. It was intense seeing him like that, especially because his back's always been up to me, to us. And then seeing him like that and actually seeing him, eye to eye. Yeah, it was surreal. Trapmore Ross was there. A few other YouTubers were there. So, they keep coming. checking out the case and continuing the awareness of the case, which is it's good to see. Independent media out here. It was pretty much all media, mainstream media.
Oh, he has issues with
So
the
it's good to
screen.
see the YouTubers out here representing Trapmore Ross. Shout out to Trapmore Ross. He's out here doing his thing. I just had to get going. I said hi to him in the courtroom, but because I have to go to the truck. I gotta figure out the truck. Yeah, he was looking confident. I'm not gonna lie how he looks. My interpretation, he looked confident. Oh, that's your birthday? Oh man. He looked confident, he looked collected, shaven, refreshed. He looked refreshed. And it looked like he was having a good conversation with lawyers. And Burke, his lawyer, was pretty she looked confident. She looked confident.
Oh,
The past few times the defense didn't look confident, in my opinion, but today they look really confident because I think it's a strategy. I think what they're doing is a strategy. They're moving the dates around so that way the witnesses I'm gonna cross the street. Because in my opinion, I think the witnesses aren't gonna show up. Like they're messing around with the dates with the witnesses.
oh wow.
That's my guess. It sounds like it's strategic. Trying to prolong it, trying to change the dates for the witnesses, because that came up a lot with Beth Silverman. Beth Silverman, she had a blue suit on. She was looking sharp, looking very professional. And yeah, you can tell she was frustrated, but nonetheless, she was actually pretty they were what's it called? Ooh, smells like weed. Some bad weed too. Yeah, they were pretty cooperative, I should say. Why does he spell his name D4VD? He's trying to be cute, but it's not.
He's trying to be cute.
Trying to be different. But yeah, Beth Silverman look ready. Had a blue suit on. Power suit, blue one. Looked very professional. The judge had wet hair. I know that doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to paint a picture. Bailiffs were there, the sheriff.
Wait, he said that the judge had wet hair? Like she just got out of the shower, wet hair? Maybe that was the emergency.
The deputies, I mean, they're always nice too. Yeah, everybody in there is nice. The staff.
He did say wet hair.
Okay, here's my truck. I just passed it.
Yeah, Miss K. I honestly think we probably won't hear about this till like early next year.
All right, we got to figure something out. Add some more money to it.
He said wet hair.
And we got to figure out the truck. But I wanted to update everybody, so let me see let me get in here. It's freaking hot. I think I might have blown something.
Oh no.
There was no family. Good question.
No
I
family.
didn't see any family. I didn't see David's family or Celeste Rivas' family. Hey, Miss Dog Lover. Oh, you out of the hospital? Oh, that's good.
Okay. So that is a little bit of an update. Hopefully Mark will fix his truck. Shout out to Mark. Make sure you guys check him out. Okay, he said wet hair, don't care. All right, we do have some other updates. Megan Cuniff also said another delay. The preliminary hearing for David Burke, aka D4VD, is now scheduled to begin on July 21st. So July 21st, no 29, no June 29. Okay, see if I can add this here. With the status conference on July 7th. His lawyers filed a motion that is sealed. Judge Olimendo considered it in a hearing in chambers and said there's good cause for continuance. That's what she said. Okay. So furthermore, we do have some local news as well reporting, and we can go there to those articles as well. Preliminary hearing, 44VD and Celeste Rivas murder moved to July. So again, we were set for June 29th, and now we've been moved to July. You said, yeah, he had a mishap. He was there, quick fix. I hope it's the same. I don't know, man. You said he can use the shaggy defense to say it wasn't you, it wasn't me. Lord have mercy. Oh, shout out to Kelsey. Kelsey, if you're in the chat, thank you so much for, I just got your Venmo love. Thank you. I'm definitely going to get me some coffee after this because I am out and I'm low. Thank you. All right, hold up. Let me see if we can go to local news real quick. Excuse me. So let's see. So preliminary hearing for Singer D4VD charge in the murder of the Southern California teen whose remains were found in an abandoned Tesla owned by a TikTok star, and now they're calling him a TikTok star, was scheduled for July during a Wednesday court proceeding in Los Angeles. D4PD, whose real name is David Burke, appeared for a status conference, which is a pre-trial meeting between a judge and the attorneys and others involved in the case. The preliminary hearing, when a judge usually decides whether there's enough evidence for a defendant to stand trial, was originally set for later this month, but rescheduled for July 21st. Another status conference was scheduled for July 7th. The preliminary hearing is expected to last about 5 days. Burke was arrested April 16th. Can we know the history? Police said Celeste's death likely occurred in the spring of last year. The ME's office said the cause of death was multiple penetrating injuries. Burke was charged April 20th with first-degree murder, including special circumstances, allegations that can increase sentencing penalties. All right. So we are, nothing else. Surveillance video and other evidence confirmed defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29, 2025. Well, there's that surveillance video before he left Los Angeles on concert tour, according to the prosecutor's filing. So some of the stuff we've already known. I'm not going to repeat it, but that is an update from the local news. You said, I don't think it would be the best for the families. I think they deserve the full court press. Well, his family's not showing up, right? So like his family, D4VD's family, they have not shown up, and they probably aren't going to show up maybe until when the trial starts, when they have like maybe a good opportunity, right? Because all of these are just hearings. That's all that they are. Now, let me see, because I definitely got to show you guys some other stuff. I'm trying to see if there's any more local news on the YouTube streets. Maybe somebody else that saw something or felt something, or there was something else that was going on. We definitely have the Luigi Mangione stuff happening as well. But I want to see. It's amazing that when I type in D4VD, I mean, he had 2.39 million followers, guys. So literally, I mean, his followers are still up there. This hasn't impacted his algorithm. That's what I'm trying to say. What I mean by that is when you search something, if I'm searching D4VD, the first things that should come up are all the murder stuff, right? All the stuff. His page is still coming up. Should show you how strong his page in the algorithm is.
NBC4's Annette Areola is live at the courthouse. And Annette, can you talk to us about what we are expecting to happen there at the courthouse today?
Ooh.
Well, Adrian, officials are calling this a status conference leading up to the preliminary hearing that is on the calendar for June 29th. So basically, what we'll see today is the judge having talks with both prosecutors as well as the defense attorneys for Singer David, just basically reviewing how the case is progressing here. And on the 29th, well, that is when the judge will determine whether there is sufficient evidence to allow the case against David Burke to go on to trial. Now, Singer David has pleaded not guilty to the charge of capital murder in the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose remains were found last September. Her dismembered body was discovered in the trunk of a Tesla that was registered to the singer. That vehicle was parked in a Hollywood tow yard. Now, Hernandez was a seventh grader at the time that she was reported missing out of Lake Elsinore almost 2 years ago. The 21-year-old TikTok singer was identified by authorities in November as a suspect in connection to Celeste's death, and he was arrested this past April. Now, right now, the LA County District Attorney's Office is expected to decide at some point later whether they will actually be seeking the death penalty against Burke. Reporting live in downtown, I'm Annette Arriola for Today in LA.
Annette Arriola. Shout out to Annette Arriola. All right, hold up, y'all.
NBC4.
Let me take this headphone off. Now, I want to go and jump over to the Reddits. It's been a minute since I've paid attention to what's going on the Reddit as well. I remember seeing these photos specifically, right? So those photos of D4VD, it says, apparently with other minors, are real. I'm pretty sure that these photos are real. If you're from the Reddits, let me know, because I'm pretty sure it's been determined. Now, the other thing that I saw was David's, it looks like it's David's brother's account. He was under Trapmore Ross's page. I think people have seen this too, that he's like out there responding to comments about the case and whatnot. So I don't know. He said, I like mountains, but volcanoes are ash holes. Shout out to James. Thank you so much, James, for this super sticker. I got to read all the other ones. Give me one sec. He said, I wonder if the house he was renting back then on the market. Ooh. That's a good question. I do wonder, did they ever put it back up on the market? The date has been moved again. Yeah, Rosemary, it has. But I think that we're pretty, like, I'm not surprised about the date moving. I don't think it's necessarily that the judge, wants to delay this. I think that that's kind of like procedural. There's probably a lot of stuff that they're still reviewing that hasn't been reviewed. So we have to give them the opportunity, right, for both ends to review the evidence. So that might mean delaying things. I mean, I was asking earlier, like, how come in the last hearing they said they only got like 10 terabytes of the 40? And clearly there's a process to the evidence. You have to go to a courtroom. Some of the evidence might be CSAM. It might be some of these other women, or young girls that could also be alleged victims, So there's that. You said, will the major stream media have to go to court to ask for the trial to be televised? Yes. And I don't know what that looks like, because I thought that they had already filed something to have this, like somebody has to file something. And it could just be that they choose like one outlet, right? Like what I've noticed is that Court TV tends to be like on top of everything. But also note that California doesn't, like the last time was O.J. Simpson. That was like what, over 30 years ago? O.J. Simpson was over 30 years ago that they had anything televised in this court area, and it's the same spot for D4VD. So, David Anthony Burke. So yeah, I don't know. I highly doubt that they're just going to see, yeah, it would be great. Oh my God, it would be great. Because then we could all watch it. Right? But the OJ trial was 30 plus years ago. Yeah. They did ask, and they asked for 30 days out. Right? So they have a status hearing on July the first week, July 7th. Then they have another hearing on the end of July as well. Yeah, federal will never. I mean, hell, can you imagine if we were able to watch the Diddy hearing live? Oh my God, that'd have been great. But yeah, the defense did. The defense showed good cause for delay. So I mean, it just tells us that they haven't reviewed everything. They're still reviewing things, right? And I mean, like I said, the whole point is making sure that he defends himself, because he has to. He has the right to defend himself. And that the prosecution presents the evidence that they have, right? And that we have a fair trial, so that, years later, we don't have an appeal or an overturn, which has kind of been like the theme of things. You know what I mean? Like, especially with, you have the Murdoch situation too. Gannon Stout, that case, there's just been case after case that's been overturned. Harmony Montgomery, there's another case. It's like we want to make sure that everybody's got everything together so we don't have issues. We want to make sure that there's a fair trial, and that they're able to present their evidence. As much as I don't think that he's innocent, I do believe that he needs to be able to defend himself the way that he needs to. You said I watched the entire OJ trial. That was the messiest trial ever. Oh my God. I think I was like 9 or 10. I wasn't thinking about true crime back then. Yeah, I really wasn't. I lived in, that's when we were living in California, very young age. So, I mean, I knew it was a crazy trial, but yes. So now wait a minute. Here's the other question that I have, right? With the CSAM, because they literally dog whistled on the, they told everybody that David had a CSAM in there, right? Are the feds going to step in after the state is done? Can it be both? Makes you wonder, you know? I was too young for the OJ trial as well. Tough to get that speedy trial when there's 40 terabytes of evidence to go through. Yeah. Yeah, as for you want a fair, speedy trial, not just a trial that's going to overlook things, right? You watched it in high school, Morris, the OJ Simpson trial? Lord have mercy. I will say that I remember when he was the white Bronco. I do remember that being like a very, a moment in time. But yeah, you said, you guys are so funny. I'd rather take the time and get it right. Me too. If he needs to push back, I'm sorry. Push back, review the evidence, take the time. We don't want a retrial. Okay. We don't want a mistrial, and we don't want a, I don't know, whatever else is in between, right? So there's that. Yeah, the CSAM is feds charges. If he gets off by any chance, they got him, no question on the Fed charges. They are smart for holding out those to make sure they go to prison. You said I was 16 in the trial, wasn't paying attention to the trial, only the news. It's something else, man. You said I was a paralegal in school when the OJ trial was going on. We would watch at lunchtime, says Mrs. Jam. Shout out to you. Oh, that would have been a time to do true crime. Oh my God. Because you have to understand, was the OJ trial before the Menendez? Which one was first? And the reason why I remember is because Selena was killed, and they were trying to figure out, there was so much shit happening. Like after the OJ trial, they had the trial for her trial. They had to change venue for her trial too. I remember I read the book from the DA that then later became a judge, and he wrote a book about it. He just retired as a judge. So yeah, he wrote, shout out to him. Menendez was first, and then it was OJ. Menendez was first. Okay. So it was Menendez and then OJ. And then after OJ was Selena, but Selena wasn't in California. This was another side of Texas. This is when I first learned about change of venue. Change of venue. That's how I learned about it, was through the Selena trial. Selena trial. That's a great question. Hold up. Hold on. Let's look it up. Yeah, I remember there's a chapter in there where the lawyer, the judge lawyer, Carlos Valdez, that's his name. He writes about why it was such a big deal. Like what happened in OJ actually affected the way in which they were handling trials in courts, even in different states. He wrote this guy writes. He's very thorough in his writing. It was a very dense book about the Selena trial, but he wrote a paragraph about how they were very strategic about how they were changing venue, the requests, and all that other stuff because of something about the OJ trial that set the stage for the trials after that. So the Menendez brothers was July 1993. So it was a hung jury in July of 1993, and then a retrial happened October 93. Okay. They were convicted in 96. The OJ trial was January 95 and concluded on the acquittal October 3rd, 95. Okay, there you go. That's what the issue was. So then Selena the trial began October 95 and it ended on October 23rd of 95. So yeah, so that's why the judge, the then lawyer said, now judge, retired judge, he basically wrote a paragraph about the fact that they were just coming off of the O.J. Simpson, acquittal, which was October 3rd, 95, to then going into the Selena trial in Texas. So there was a shift in the climate about trials and stuff like that. Yeah, so there you go. It was different things. That's an interesting history. Yeah, the Menendez brothers was that's what I was like. I remember the Menendez too. I was young too back then, when that happened. He said I was 40 when OJ was working and then came home to watch the news. Wow, Mickey. So some of you guys, like, people were working like in the court. They were, paralegals and stuff like that. You guys might remember. I had kids when the OJ trial happened. We took turns watching it, and in the break room at work. Wow. Yes. And then it was overturned, and then they did so a lot happened in 95 as far as cases go. That there's that. You said I blame OJ entirely for the Kardashians. Really, Brianna? Like OJ? You think he created the Kardashians? It's something else. You said it is said that the Menendez had to be convicted due to the prosecution's loss of the OJ. I heard that too. I blame Kardashians for the OJ. I blame OJ for, I blame Robert Kardashian for the Kardashians. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. There's a lot of mystery behind that trial too. I don't know. You said and Nicole and Ron were murdered on my. Oh, I'm so sorry. Nicole and I were. Oh my God, Tina. Wow. Pink and I watched Battle of the Planets in the 5th grade. Okay. Yes. Anyways, Robert did create them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I blame Robert Kardashian for creating the Kardashians. I'm not blaming OJ, even though they said that one of them might be the daddy of one of the Kardashians. That Kris Jenner got around. The lady got around. She was a momager for a reason, y'all. She was a momager. Let me stop. Let me not get in trouble, man, because these people, they really know how to strike, and they know how to remove things. And I'm like, I ain't trying to get all in trouble and whatnot. Okay. That being said, though, did we get this update on the timeline? Hold up. I'm trying to see if there's any more updates on David Anthony Burke before we move on to Rex real quick. Let's see. That was from the last hearing. SF says the preliminary hearing in D4VD case has been continued, until July 21st. He is presumed innocent in the eyes of the law, but as a human being with a brain and the ability to think and perceive, I have to say this is not how I would expect an innocent person to direct his lawyers to act. If I were innocent and had not been sitting in jail for months on charges I did not commit, I would not be telling my very high-priced lawyers, no more delays. Let me get the F out of here. But that is not what is happening. Oof. Could be procedural delays. We never know. But yes, we do have delays. Continuance delays. And I guess we'll see. And it sounds like, David is, doing his thing. Rapper, they call him, he's not a rapper. D4VD. What? See, this is how you call this. This is insane. Look at this. I got to show y'all. And you want to talk about misinformation. Look at this. Daily T says, rapper D4VD just got released out of jail and announced that he donated $20 million to Carmelo Anthony's GoFundMe to bail him out of jail. I've got so much money, we need to help the innocent boy, is what he said. When did this happen? Somebody said, say what? Oh, see what I'm saying? The number of effing idiots who believe this. Oh my God. And they got a verified check. Please know, a check does not give you legitimacy, okay? A check does not give you legitimacy. Please note that. Checks are not all created the same, okay? People think that checks gives them legitimacy. We're going to jump over here to the Gilgo Beach situation.
him, he has absolutely shown emotion, and it's genuine emotion. There's genuine sincerity. He's expressed, he's cried over the course of my representation. So I expect it's sincere. And I really think he wants to find out the triggers for why he did what he did.
Have you ever seen the?
That's way beyond, my pay grade. It's not my world. But I do think there's a sincerity to his expression of some remorse, as well as trying to understand why he committed these crimes.
Michael, given what you've come to see from him, are you surprised he didn't have more to say in court today?
That's what they say.
I probably would say yes to that. He's a somewhat of a charismatic figure when you talk to him. He's engaging when you talk to him. And I did kind of expect that he would say more, but that was his choice.
Like a lot of the victims' families talked about the money that the family made from the documentary. Very angry about that. Can you address that? What was your reaction?
Yeah, I completely understand that. Let's just be clear. The defense team has nothing to do with this documentary, right? We're representing him on the criminal case. There are periphery
This is weird.
people who are involved in what you're talking about, and obviously they did whatever they wanted to do, and there was a lot of, apparently from what you reported in the press, a tremendous amount of money that was made. Does that sit well with me? No, it doesn't sit well with me. We're not party to that. We're not privy to that. We're not involved in that. We had a very focused goal, which is defending an individual charged with some serious crimes. I certainly appreciate what one of the victims, I think it was the mother or the aunt, indicated about this loophole in the law. I completely understand.
Michael J. Brown being very candid with reporters after the sentencing of his client, Rex Heuermann. We'll get a break. We're still waiting on the bulk of the images out of that courtroom. We still don't have the victim impact statements in-house. Once we get them, we'll pass them along. Quick break. Yeah.
This is supposed to be going for hours, guys. Like, there's going to be victim statements, his sentencing. He's trying to understand what his triggers is. No, man, you're just an evil son of a bee. That's it. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I cannot with anyways. And then the people that made money off of his Rex's family made money off of this, and the victims, I just get, and by the way, the ex-wife, but really, like, let's be very real. We know that it's like wife, the ex-wife, who only divorced him, she didn't want to lose her assets, in my opinion. She's out there. She's still having contact with them. She participated in this documentary. She got allegedly, and they don't call it like a check from Hulu, guys. There's other ways to figure out how for you to get a payout without being directly paid out, if that makes sense. Okay. So the lady decided not to show up. She's not showing up. She decided to say, well, I want to respect, this is their time. I'm like, lady, you're going to be calling him tomorrow later on and ask him if he had the prison bean soup. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of prison calls that they have. They talk. Okay. If she didn't feel like she was pressured to divorce him, she probably still would be marrying him. Or if she didn't have anything to lose, she'd still be married to him, guys. Honestly.
I'm sorry for what I did.
One family member, Amanda Funderburg, actually said, justice, I'm paraphrasing, justice isn't served here today. Justice would be inflicting on you what you did to our loved one. She did say, save me a spot in hell because I'll see you there.
Yeah, and we also heard another loved one of another victim say they're waiting to get to heaven, right? Ed Mack said that about his adopted daughter, Valerie Mack, that he wants to get to heaven so that he can see her again. So this is what we were dealing with in the courtroom, this wide gamut of emotions. It ran all over the place. Some of the victims' impact statements were pugilistic. They got up there really looking to do battle. You mentioned Amanda Funderburg. She challenged Heuermann to look her in the eyes while she spoke. The whole time, he was looking down. A lot of times you do see defendants in the courtroom, they will look up at their victims, they'll turn around. A lot of times they look down. Heuermann looked down the entire time until she challenged him and said, I want you to look at me. Now, remember, when she was a 15-year-old, he placed a phone call to her, taunting her after her sister was killed, that he was going to do, told her all the things that he did to her and threatened her. And she said, it's been 17 years since we last spoke. Look at me. And he did look up at that moment.
Right. I was going to say our photographer in the courtroom, James Carbone, texted all of us and said when she challenged him, he did glance in her direction only for a brief moment. Then he looked back down.
Yeah. And a lot of times Heuermann was looking down and people were saying things to him. You talked about all those words. People really they challenged his masculinity. Mm-hmm. They challenged his intelligence. They say, the district attorney, Ray Tierney, got up there and said, you think you're the smartest guy? You're wrong. And it took a long time, right? We're talking 33 years since Sandra Castillo was killed. But eventually, he was outsmarted by investigators. They eventually found enough evidence to force the guilty plea that happened on April 8th. And today's sentencing, that will send him to prison undoubtedly for the rest of his life. He will never see parole.
And for a lot of the family members, I think their point moving forward was several of them said, now it's about our loved ones. It should no longer be about him. One said at the press conference after the proceeding, don't say his name anymore, right? Say their names. Remember them.
Yeah, I believe it was Elizabeth Meserve, who is Megan Waterman's aunt. She got up there and said, called him the prisoner the whole time. She never once said Heuermann. She never once said Rex. He was the prisoner when she mentioned him.
Oh my God.
And I think a lot of these people, this is a long time coming for these people, as you said. And they really need to get it out of their systems. And this is what a sentencing is. This is the first opportunity for these people who go years and years without even knowing who killed their loved one, to years of following the case to get to this point where they can have their day in court. This is a bargain for disposition. We knew going into this, right. The headline is not that Rex Heuermann is going to prison for the rest of his life. That the headline today is that victims had their chance to speak. These people got to speak to who these women were while they were alive, and the impact of what Heuermann did has had on their families. And in every circumstance, it's devastating to hear what these families have gone through.
And at least one said she felt lighter afterwards. Many of them said this isn't necessarily justice, but it's what they wanted to do and it's what they felt they needed to do.
Yeah, I believe it was Melissa Kahn, who is the sister of Maureen Brainerd Barnes, who said, the burden is now on you, Heuermann. She feels lighter now. She's carried this guilt, survivor's guilt. That's a real thing that people carry when this happens. Why did it happen to my sister? Why not me? She says, from this day forward, you're carrying the burden up in prison, wherever they end up sending him.
And in a very poignant moment at the end, as you guys probably saw and heard already, Judge Mazie, who had been presiding over this case the entire time, said, get him out of here, to the cheers and chanting of family members.
Yeah, that's after calling him, saying, you've been described as a big man. Often, you're a little man if you're a man at all. Judge Mazie does not mince words. When he gets his opportunity at sentencing, he is going to, you love him as a journalist because it's going to write itself, everything that he says. And he did not hold back at all. He let Heuermann know exactly how he feels. And you're right. At the end, he said, get out of here, get him out of here.
Are you talking about D4VD? Sorry, real quick, guys, I had to mute. And looking at the rules of the court, yes, guys, so we're covering both, right? Because today is a very impactful day for the list victims, families, and whatnot. He got his sentencing. This Long Island serial killer, who, in my opinion, it sounds like he's been getting away with shit, and there might be a bigger cover up, in my opinion. Anyways, so we covered D4VD earlier. For those that are coming in late, it's been pushed back. What is it, July 7th for a status hearing? And then we're talking about sorry, the dates aren't in my head. Give me 1 second. This is why I repeated myself a couple times. What did we say? 1 second. I don't want to give you guys the wrong date. July 21st, excuse me. July 21st is scheduled for the preliminary hearing. A status conference is July 7th. So again, it's been pushed back. The judge and the lawyers, they had a meeting in chambers, and there were different things that were proposed there as well. There's some stuff that is still under seal, so there's a lot of things that we will not be able to find out quite yet. But this is also a very important day for this case as well. That is, I don't know, man, it just drives me crazy. You said, but first, everybody, I'm assuming you're talking about D4VD. Okay, let's keep going, okay?
Follow the latest breaking developments on the story on our website, newsday.com. Click Get More below that Newsday TV video box.
All right, hold up, guys. We're going to move on to the other coverage.
And a maximum of your life. With respect to count 8, murder in the second degree, it's a sentence the court you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. With respect to count 9, murder in the second degree, it's a sentence the court you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. And finally, with respect to count 10, murder in the second degree, it's the sentence the court you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. All of those sentences to run consecutive with each other. Mr. Tierney, with respect to counts 4, 5, and 6,
we move to dismiss, Your Honor, in satisfaction of that sentence.
That application is granted. Other agencies to collect. Anything else, gentlemen?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Mr. Brown?
Nothing further.
All right, get him out of here.
Ooh. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Ooh, did you all hear what the judge said? Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Serving on defense, order directing the surrender of firearms, rifles, and shotguns. That order will go back with you at the jail.
I love that. I love that.
The door closes, and Heuermann, who's towering over everyone in that courtroom, the judge appropriately telling him, you are not a big man, even though that's what's been mentioned inside of this courtroom. Let's bring in trial attorney, former prosecutor Marie Pereira, who's actually been a attorney there in this area that we're talking about, Nassau County. And Marie, I've heard you talk to Ted about just the grief here, probably a little bit of a lack of decorum in allowing everyone to cheer in the way that they do.
No.
But this moment for the victims, can you just talk about what that must be like? All of these years of sometimes people telling them no, telling them there's nothing that they can do, and to finally get to this moment.
Watching this made my heart race because, you know, he admitted to what he did, but it took him long enough. It's not like as soon as they arrested him in Manhattan, he said, yes, you got it. It's me. He put them through a lot. He got a lawyer. He denied it. There were hearings, discovery, motions to help him get away with that. To me, I think that they should have brought up why was there such a delay in arresting him in the first place.
Yes.
They identified a big fat ogre from 2010 with his truck. But because of who was the police chief and who was the DA at the time, they swept it under the rug. They blocked the FBI from investigating. And for years, he went on to kill more and more and more. Why didn't somebody bring that up? I know that those two people, Burke and Spada, they were arrested and convicted for other matters, but it was their corruption that caused the delay in the investigation and allowed him to stay outside murdering people. And the people he murdered, you know what? Nobody cared about them because they were marginal. They were addicts. They were sex workers. So no one cared to say what's happening to all of these women. When you look at collectively everything that happened that allowed him to be outside murdering people like that, it just seems like there is really no justice because what? Now he's in prison without parole? To me, that's nothing for what he did to those people.
Exactly.
There has been a lot of criticism, Marie, for how this was handled, who was in charge, who allowed certain things that were available to not be investigated properly. You heard the judge say something that I thought was interesting, though. He mentioned, yes, you have admitted to these crimes now because you got caught, the 8 women. There's a suggestion that if that's all there is, do you think, we heard Michael Brown, his attorney, say that Heuermann's going to be submitting to the behavioral sciences. He will cooperate with them in exchange for not being prosecuted for anything else. Do you think there's a possibility that this is not the end in terms of victims that are connected to Rex Heuermann?
Too many victims.
He probably murdered more women.
Yes.
But you know, not to say that each life doesn't matter, but to me, as long as he's alive, I'm not good with it. That man should not be alive. But then, you know, death penalty was never on the table. It's not, you know, appropriate in this situation. But still, he gets to live his life, get up every day, feed his belly, eat off the dime of the Department of Corrections and federal prisons. He's alive. He's breathing. Those women are not. And the way they died and they were discarded and no one gave a damn for so many years, how do you ever get that back? There is no real justice here. Justice would be immediate death, in my opinion. And I'm not a death penalty person, but in this case, it is just absolutely appropriate that he should just not be alive. The man is a demon.
Oh my God! Thank you.
We are going to put a pin in that now because that's been the latest there out in New York. But we do have some breaking news that's coming out of California, so we want to turn our attention there. Singer David was back in court today. His full name is David Anthony Burke. He has pleaded not guilty to murdering a 14-year-old girl whose body was found in the front trunk of his Tesla. Prosecutors say that Celeste Rivas Hernandez was stabbed to death, then dismembered after she threatened to expose the relationship with this singer. And today we have a hearing that happened there in California. We did not have a live stream coming out of that courtroom, so we are now able to go to Los Angeles. We're joining us outside of the courthouse is investigative reporter Julia Deng. Julia, thanks so much for joining us. I know you were inside of that courtroom today. What can you tell us about what transpired at this hearing?
So, Julia, major headline coming out of this hearing today is that we're going to have to do this all over again. They continued the case, essentially meaning that this was delayed. And we just spoke here outside this same courthouse about a month ago, back on May 12th, because we had another status conference that day. So today was very much the same exercise. The defense attorneys for the defendant, David Anthony Burke, they made a motion to basically delay the case. They said they wanted more time. It sounds like it was because some kind of evidence that came out during the discovery process made them feel like they needed additional time to prep their case. So they did set a date. We're going to do this status conference again. That's going to be on July 7th. And then during another preliminary hearing on July 21st, 2 weeks after that, following status conference, we'll find out if this might have legs to actually go to trial. Now, what was interesting this morning is that there was actually an in-chambers hearing. That was between the judge, the prosecution, and the defense. So we had no cameras in the courtroom, and media was not present for this in-chambers hearing. Apparently, the records from that hearing between the two sides and the judge, those records were sealed by the time they actually got into the courtroom and started speaking in more of an open venue where journalists could hear. So we don't know exactly what evidence was cited by defense attorneys in their motion to continue the case. We do know the judge said the court found there was reason to delay this. So we're going to keep on playing the waiting game here. We are set up with media outside the courthouse, waiting for anybody tied to this case to walk out. There was chatter here there might actually be a press conference.
Oh, shit.
So again, not a lot to report from the hearing, but we may find out later today exactly why this was pushed back yet again. Back over to you.
That is interesting about the close in chambers hearing, Julia, that whatever was mentioned inside was enough to convince the judge that they needed to wait, but why it couldn't be in front of the cameras is curious. Who all was inside of the courtroom? I know we have to let you go quickly, but who did you see today once you were inside?
It was largely media once again. We have seen that at every hearing now in this case against David Anthony Burke, charged with first-degree murder. The back two rows of the courtroom completely filled with reporters. Now, we didn't see friends or family of either the defendant or his alleged victim, but let me tell you about David's demeanor. He walked in clean-shaven. His hair looks to be a little bit longer. He was wearing his regulation orange jail uniform, and he looked incredibly relaxed. I couldn't get over how he smiled and nodded at the judge. He looked almost too comfortable to be in that courtroom. But he and his attorney, Blair Burke, they seemed pretty pleased with this update. This seems to be part of the defense strategy to just keep on delaying this case.
Fascinating observation, given the heinous nature of the charges against him. Julia Dang, out there in Los Angeles for us, thank you so much for joining us. We have got to get in a break.
Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna mute her real quick, but just to let you guys know, because you guys were asking about the death penalty, why it was not on the table. So he did not face a death penalty because capital punishment was declared unconstitutional in New York in 2004. He instead agreed to a plea deal. He instead agreed to a guilty plea to avoid a lengthy trial and spare his family from having to hear the horrific details of the crimes. Under his plea agreement, he received multiple consecutive sentences of life in prison without the possibility of parole. While the death penalty was off the table, the plea deal also provided Rex with several personal terms and brought finality to the case for the following reasons. Now, let me tell you, when the lawyer lady said there's more victims out there, they just have not been identified, guys. There's more victims out there. They have not been identified. Okay. Just so people are clear. So for me that they said, well, he just, agreed to the 8th victim. There's more. There's more people that have been like connected to the situation. So it's just not. There's people that will never hear or like they'll never be recognized as, having been victims of this. And he's not going to fess up to more. Like, you're literally going to have to get DNA and all kinds of linking to this situation. It's just not going to happen out of him. He doesn't care. And why would he confess to more? Like, he's not going to do that. I mean, the guy's not a good guy. Okay. So people are aware. Now, hold up. Let me see what else. So because New York law no longer includes capital punishment, a plea deal for Rex is not involved in trading a death sentence for a lesser term. Prosecutors could only offer him life in prison without a possibility of parole, which is the maximum penalty available in the state. So his defense attorney cited that Rex ultimately pled guilty because he wanted his own family and family and the other families of the women he killed to avoid the trauma of going to a trial. This is a man who his crimes are so graphic. Like, they just, anyways, while federal prosecutors theoretically have the authority to seek the death penalty in certain capital cases, the crimes were primarily prosecuted at the state level. Okay. So, as part of the guilty plea, Rex was required to cooperate with the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit, which is what they talked about, and investigators before his formal sentencing, just so people are aware of why that is. Okay. You said, I'm still standing here at the courthouse if you need a POV. Thank you so much. I mean, give us a POV if you're able to in the chat. Are you outside of the courthouse? We did see Mark the Shark out there, as well as Megan Cuniff and other people out there reporting on just updates as well. But everybody's been saying the same thing. He looked kind of clean shaven. What was the other thing that they said? Clean shaven. He looked relaxed. He looked like he was kind of walking in and he knew what to expect as far as that situation. But you guys let me know, was there anything else in addition to this? As far as the status conference goes, I'm also looking to see, let's see. I mean, literally, this is just crazy work. Crazy work. And I mean, I love how the judge was like, get him out of here. That was great. That was beautiful. They need to do all that again. And some of the victims, I guess, were able to speak. There's still a lot of people on standby, but it's a pretty big day down there where all of this is being reported. I just, to me, it's almost like, but we have so much more. We're not done. There's so many more victims. His wife acts like, I don't know, man. For those that are like brand new to this is the wife or the ex-wife. I'm like, they're only exes by paper.
You get to sit with a serial killer. What was the hardest part for you to hear?
Well, I put a wall.
Nah.
What do you mean you put
She
a wall?
called him Mr. Heuermann. So his response was, "Oh, are we formal now, Mrs. Ellerop?"
Did you feel you were sitting across the table from a stranger?
No. When he started talking, he started feeling like that's the Rex I know. But I didn't want to see that one. I wanted to see the one I needed to see.
Paint a picture for us of what it was like to walk into that room.
He looked very nervous. Very, very nervous. And
I want to know how much she got paid for this. That's what I want to know. Why is she being compensated for this? This is what's pissing me off. The murders happened at the home that they lived in. I think so too, Cammie. Why is she being compensated for this? Does this make any sense? This ain't right. And we don't even know how many people he actually killed. There's a lot more women that have not been connected to him because of whatever DNA, whatever it may be. This is some crazy. I can't, man. Like, it's hard for me to have any kind of like with this woman. It really is.
Said to him, "So, Mr. Heuermann, I understand that you are confessing to me on these murders. Can you please tell me how many of these women did you kill?" He said 8.
8? Was there any hesitation when he said 8?
No, he just told me the answer. He said he killed 8 women.
8.
8.
Who was the 8th? Because he's charged with 7.
I didn't ask.
He sat and told you he killed 8.
He said I wasn't home during all of them.
Were any of them killed in the house?
He said yes, they were killed in his room downstairs. All except one.
That's just, they were all killed downstairs. And it was a room she was not allowed to go to. I'm telling you, man, I'm just not buying it. I don't know. Some ain't right about this. Some ain't right about this. Some ain't right about this. Yes. Yes, Shannon, that's correct. Yes. She said, well, there, some rooms I couldn't go to. What? What? If we're living together, you're not locking me out of a room. I don't care if it's a man cave. I'm going to walk in every room. We together. I'm in a marriage. I'm walking in every room. Every room. There is not going to be some, you know how in those, what is it? In the movies, there's always like, when it's a situation like this, they had a shed in the back of the yard and nobody went to that shed. No, bitch, I'm going to that shed. I'm going underneath the shed. I'm going to go every side. No. I'm going everywhere. I'm going in the attic. I'm going in the basement. I'm going to the shelter. No, I'm going everywhere. Every room, every house. I sure as hell am. I am. and now that room where he unalived all these women. Yeah. And apparently her thing was like, well, we were going out on vacation while he was at home, what kind of this man is repairing our home. He's repairing the bathroom. He's tearing it from the inside out. And, of course, this is what he does. No. Mm-mm. No. Every room. You can't tell me different. I'm going to the Home Depot where you're buying the supply. I want to know what you're buying. I am. And believe me, it's truly, guys, I'm really, like, I know I'm presenting myself to be very overwhelming, and I'll tell you something, I'm totally not. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm in the business if we're married. Like, I'm in the business. Every side of the business, I'm in. Okay? Right. Repairing a room you ain't never seen, honey. No. Mm-mm. Bullshit. Her DNA was found in one of the victims. I couldn't live with myself if that was the case. Do you understand? That would be hard for me to know that this person who I laid with, right, had children with, created memories with, did this to another woman, right? And here I am retelling the situation while I'm getting a check. Okay. They don't. Fuck him. I mean, he's in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. She's also had her own trauma. I'll give her that. That somehow she is like the perfect person to either play stupid. Okay. And I say play because you're intentionally playing stupid, or co-sign, or be part of it. Play stupid, co-sign, or be part of it. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You said you had an aunt whose husband had a shed and she wasn't. Then sorry, then that's a divorce. That's divorceable for me. I'm getting in every drawer. I'm getting everywhere. I'm getting in every shed, every basement, every attic. I am, guys. I am. Because there's no way. Because if we're on paper together, there is no way. No way. And especially finding out, I'm definitely going to be, any inclination, cheating, whatever it may be, I'm in. I got to go. I got to find out. I'm the Inspector Gadget of it all. I am. I'll find out. Yep. You said if I get paid, that money should be going to the victims. That's what I'm saying, Vanessa. I'm nosy. I'm going to find out. I'm a findologist. I really am. I'm going to find out. That's what I'm going to do. And you're absolutely right. Some women do that. But still, I'm sorry. To me, it's like, yo, you got to take that extra step. Just how I feel. Just how I am. Anyways. It's just how I am. Anyways. Y'all let me know. You said instead of irreconcilable differences, that better be in the divorce paper. Especially finding out that my DNA was in a victim. It's going to be in there. And my DNA was found in a victim. If I had nothing to do with this, I wasn't allowed in this room. The minute if I'm not allowed in a room, I'm struggling with that thought. I really am. Just how I am, I'm going to be all up on everything. I really am. Yeah. Just how I see it, yo. But some people don't see it that way. And that is okay. That is okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But still, I struggle with that. I really do. Yeah. That being said, though, I mean, you have these victims, and like I said, it's not all. And when the lawyer pointed out about the cover up, yeah, it gives cover up to me when this is big. Did you guys just let this killer run? Do all this shit for I don't know how many years? What took so long? That's really the question. What took so long for him to get caught? Okay. What took so long? Why wasn't he caught sooner? This is years of this, okay? Years of him to make excuses, to perfect things, to do different things. No, man, it's unexcusable. It truly, really is.
Because of a head injury, but then they filled in the gaps with information, which was
they're talking about the neurologist with the boating accident. I mean, I just can't, man.
A secret investigation, a shocking suspect, and the moment the net closed in.
And we were able to say on July 13th at 8:30 p.m., it's time to move in on Rex Heuermann.
He helped crack one of America's most haunting serial killer mysteries.
Were you surprised when they came to you and said Rex Heuermann is our prime suspect, that it was an architect working here in Manhattan?
Now, former police commissioner Rodney Harrison is revealing what he really thinks about the man who terrorized Long Island for years.
Before we get into this incredibly horrific case about the Gilgo Beach serial killings, I want to tell you about an app that I've been using that I really like. It's called Upside.
Shout out to Angela Levy. You said crime scenes to pay in some demonic way. Oh my goodness. There's these two aren't the only freaks. My son meets some of them all the time as an electrician. Oh man, I swear. What was that one HBO show? It was like Crazy Capsy what is it? Taxi cab stories, confessionals. Remember that? Where like people would get in it was like an HBO show, and the people would get in the cab and they would like make all kinds of confessionals about things that they've done or whatever, and they just like let loose, and they were being filmed the whole time. That's some crazy ish, but I mean it's a real thing. It's a real thing. Electricians, what is it? Taxi cab drivers. I can't even speak. All kinds of people out there that get into crazy ish. Okay. That being said, I'm trying to see if there's any more D4VD updates while we're here. And I don't see anything other than what's already been reported. Let me see if anybody else is out there. D4VD is insane, man. Insane. Nothing else that I see reportable here while we look. You said, these types of men don't go after alpha women. They prey on timid ones. You're absolutely right. They know, and he maybe knew how to pick a wife. Like he knew that, well, she's already been through a situation. If I understand how the story of their connection is that, you know, he rescued her one way or another, and that's how she saw him. She saw him as somebody that rescued him, right? And maybe that was why it was so difficult. But at the same time, it's like, okay, at some point, and this is what is concerning, it's like these women, nobody was looking for these women, okay? If we are to make a correlation, just a little one, Celeste Rivas Hernandez was looked at as a runaway, right? Was anybody looking for her? What was going on? That really is the question. What he did to her, what D4VD is being accused of doing to her is horrific. His crimes, he has multiple victims. We only know of one at this point with D4VD. Okay. If we're not gonna excuse any of the other stuff when it comes to D4VD, it's the same with this guy. Okay. The people that were around and whatnot, you know, his wife, he had a wife and a daughter, and the reality of his home, the condition of his home, they were hoarders. They were hoarders. The house was always a mess. So it wasn't like, well, he was taking down the walls, and this is why the house was a mess. No. The house was always a mess. She was used to that kind of condition. She was okay with it, right? So to me, it's like, I don't know. She can be disconnected. She can be this and the other. She was married to this man. Okay. She never thought that he might have been doing different things and whatnot. I don't know. I have a hard time with this. And I even have a hard time as well knowing that there was DNA. Her DNA was found in the victim, and she's okay doing all these interviews, getting paid. Knowing that you sitting here and you're still taking his calls. What are you eating? Y'all got to listen. She is still taking his calls. She didn't divorce him because she was mad of the shit that he did. She divorced him so she wouldn't lose her assets, guys. That's what pisses me off about her too. Okay? She didn't. 8 women. He sounded normal. What the fuck are you talking about? 8 women. This is your loved one, right? This is your husband, the man that you laid up with 8 women. You wouldn't be asking yourself, what role did I play in this if she knew or didn't know? How come it wasn't weird to me that, he wouldn't let me go to this side of the house? I have a hard time with this one. And you know what's so crazy? It's like there's actual people out there. Like, let's talk about Dennis Rader, right? His daughter. I give her more of a pass than anything because she was young when all this shit was going on. That was her dad, right? It does happen, right? These killers are able to, be these monsters over here, okay? Preying upon women that they feel like are disposable, like he did with these S workers, because that's what it is. These departments, they're not out there looking, they're not investigating, they're not prioritizing. Well, they're S workers. They chose that kind of life. I may have what we all might have our morality issue when it comes to, it's not something that we would do. Okay, all right, cool. But you know what? I have family members that are, like everybody's got something, or maybe, shit hits the fan and things get hard and that's the industry that you go to. Does that make you disposable? No. They didn't prioritize them. And that is always a story when it comes to these serial killers. They don't prioritize the S workers. They hit a certain, what is it? The Green River one. Okay. Many years they get away with this shit. Then we come in and find out that there's connections with the department. That's what happens in Mexico too, right? So while this woman is over here married to this man and, everything's good, everything's fine, everything's normal, he's out here using some part of the house to do his crimes. She goes on vacation. He's not with them on vacation. Well, he's got work to do. He's the architect of the family. He's providing no. And even finding out the news, you still think it's okay for you to go on these damn interviews, okay, and get paid and talk about how you felt when you found out. No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It is. So yeah, I have every right to feel some type of way about her, about Asa, more so than the daughter, but Asa. Because she's still doing it, guys. She's still profiting from this shit. Don't get it twisted. Okay, to me, whether she didn't know or participated in, honestly, this shit don't make sense, honestly. And even the way in which she's acting now does not make sense to me. Anyways, let me stop. What a perfect, those are your victims right there, guys. S workers. Why? Because you got a shitty ass department that's not looking out, who covered it up, who acted like this guy could have been caught many years ago, and they let him do the shit that he did. And people should be angry about that. They really should. Some ain't right. What are the connections between there? Why? Why was he able to do what why did it take him this long? Why aren't people outraged about this? Thank you. This simple. She's still having communication with him on the phone. They're talking about what you ate for lunch today at the prison. What? So what is the divorce for exactly if it's not to save your assets? Huh? Thank you. Yes, I know I'm saying it wrong. Asa, whatever. Yeah, I cannot. You said people are actually following. That's what I'm saying. I can't. I don't give her any grace. Maybe had she found out and she said, you know what, let me just take a step back because clearly I shouldn't be talking to this man on the, look what he did to our marriage. Okay. Look what he did to me. I believed in him. I stood by him many years, right? Look what he did. Look what he did. No, she's still taking his call even till this day. Do y'all see what I'm saying? This shit don't make sense. It doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. I wouldn't be able to talk to him, married for however many years. He's calling me. Well, she's dealing with the grieving process. No, I'm sorry, man. He killed how many women? My DNA was found where? In my house? Yeah, it's one thing to cheat, right? But not only that, you mutilated these women. You hurt these families. And you left this, you're in jail. You're in prison. You're going to be there. You left me to deal with that. Are you kidding me? I have to respond. I got people like myself and others that criticize me. He did that to her. When is she going to realize that? Anyways, let me stop. He said, yeah. And then that's what I'm saying. It's like, what are you talking about? Period. I thought so too. It's Asa. Thank you. Anyways, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I see it different. Maybe I don't get it. And where I said, I brought up Dennis Rader. The distinction that I make, she was young when Dennis Rader, the daughter, she's out there, she's speaking out, right? Because I think that she feels very passionate about the fact that, there's the victims, but then through the process of what the perpetrators do, and the families get victimized. I'm not taking that away from her. I agree. But I don't see Dennis Rader's daughter doing the most like the way this woman is doing. Honestly, I don't.
Mr. Heuermann, is there anything you wish to say before I pronounce sentence? Stand up.
There are no words I can say. I'm responsible for what was said in this room today. The words I would say have no meaning. And I'm going to leave it there at this time.
Speak up.
Mr. Heuermann, as Mr. Tierney said, I know that you're sorry that you got caught.
Thank you.
I assume that you're sorry for what you've done to your wife and children.
And here's the deal. I agree. He's only sorry he got caught. But the other thing to this too is, what about these officials that were in office when this guy was doing the shit that he was doing? He could have been caught. Why aren't those? See, this is the kind of shit that it's going to make people actually want to do their job good, right? Like, if you actually do your job, okay, you might actually not be held accountable. These people right here, these people in the robes, in the officers, in the lawyers, all these people that are out there that were in office while this guy was doing his shit, why aren't they in trouble too? Because I'll tell you what, having worked in government for 10 plus years, okay, I could be held accountable for any fuck up that I make, even after I have left the department. Does that make sense? So why aren't these people held accountable for the investigative mistakes or things that they haven't done? Or it doesn't make sense to me. They should be held accountable. Okay.
Are you a little bit sorry for what you did to these poor innocent women? 8 women that you strangled to death, at least 8 that we know of. Are you at least a little bit sorry for that? Yes?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
You know what? You've been described as a very big man, but you're a disgusting and despicable small man, if you're a man at all. And you're a coward. As a result of your plea of guilty to murder in the first degree under count 1 of indictment 73544 of 2024, it's essentially court that you serve the rest of your life without the possibility of parole. With respect to count 2, murder in the first degree, it's essentially court that you serve the rest of your life without the possibility of parole. With respect to count 3, plead guilty to murder in the first degree, it's essentially the court that you serve the rest of your life without the possibility of parole. Those 3 sentences to run consecutive with each other. With respect to count 7, murder in the second degree, it's essentially the court that you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. With respect to count 8, murder in the second degree, it's essentially the court that you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Rosa. I'm just saying the name. I'm not even thinking about whether I'm pronouncing it correct or incorrect. I've heard it pronounced different ways, but it's all good. I do appreciate, if I'm saying it wrong, that's fine. I mean, but I still don't think that she deserves any of my respect either. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
With a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. With respect to count 9, murder in the second degree, it's essentially court that you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. And finally, with respect to count 10, murder in the second degree, it's essentially court that you serve an indeterminate term of imprisonment with a minimum of 25 years and a maximum of your life. All of those sentences to run consecutive with each other. Mr. Tierney, with respect to counts 4, 5, and 6,
Move to dismiss your Honor's satisfaction of that sentence.
that application granted. Other agencies to collect. Anything else, gentlemen?
Nothing from the people.
Mr. Brown?
Mm-hmm.
Get him out of here.
Franny, that needs to be clipped. That get him out of here. I love Biggie's. I'm like here for it. Lord have mercy. Get him out of here. We need to clip that. We totally do. We need to clip that. Every time we get mad, we say, get him out of here. I'm sorry, Mrs. K. I know I'd be yelling, man. I'm so mad. I really am. Yeah, I do apologize if I do get loud. It pisses me off because it's like, I can't make excuses for that woman. I really can't. I hate that she's doing these interviews knowing that she's getting paid. Like, it pisses me off to no other, guys. Honestly, we gonna clip that. We gonna clip that. Yes, absolutely. We got to keep the same energy for some of these people. We really do.
Serving on defense order directing the surrender of firearms, rifles, and shotguns. That order will go back with you at the jail.
You know where you are.
Ooh. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. It feels like there's just so many women out there that didn't get justice, and they deserve justice. A lot of families deserve a lot of peace too. I mispronounced her name wrong. Asa. I called her Asa. That's what I did. You said, don't apologize, Rabbit. I know I'd be going crazy. You said, messed up part is the rest of his life. Won't be very long. He should have been caught a long time ago. Really, should have been caught. James was talking about his wig. Is he wearing a wig? He's not wearing a wig, is he? They don't let those. Is he wearing a wig? Thank you, Priya. I don't think he's wearing. He is? They let him wear wigs in there? Lord have mercy. Hold up, guys. Let me get something real quick. He's in jail. Oh, so in jail he could wear a wig because he does look like a wig. Give me one sec, guys. Oh my God. All right. I don't know. So when they describe him in the mug, I don't know if he has a mugshot. Okay, there you go. It's not a wig. He just gets them to shave close like an undercut. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's a wig or not. Whatever. I'm like, all I know is that, you know, y'all said it was a toupee. It's not. Anyways, shout out to everybody in the chat. Well, let me shout out some people because I do have to head out. I appreciate you guys joining me this morning for, the D4VD. At least we have an update on what's going to happen. Again, we have the 7th and the 21st. 7th of July is the status hearing. The 21st is preliminary. I think it's going to get pushed back again. You're talking about 40 terabytes. We don't know. And then we don't know what kind of conversation they had in chambers. Something else is amiss. Something else is going on with that situation. And now we heard a little bit of the victim statements and whatnot and what people had to say as far as Mr. Rex over here. And, it's unfortunate because it's like, I feel like there's more victims out there and it can't just be 8. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Anyways, shout out to Dizzy Dimensions. Thank you, love, again for renewing your membership. Unbreakable Leslie, thank you. Rosa, thank you again for your 15-month membership. Mama G, thank you, 17 months. Shout out to you, love. Girl named Unlucky, member for 6 months. Thank you. Peekaboo, I see you. Shout out to you, member for 7 months. Thank you. James, thank you again for the super chat. My meerkats in love. I told her to go for it. Are they in the same family? Meerkats and gophers? Andressa, thank you so much for being a member for 8 months. Thank you. And my wonderful, beautiful mod, Pika, my longtime supporter, 39 months, approaching the OOG status. Streak to the like button, y'all, please. And thank you. Thank you, Pika. Shout out to you, Pika. Thank you for supporting my channel for so long. Texas Woman, shout out to you. I think you just renewed your membership. I'm pretty sure you were a member before. Thank you. Thank you. James again with the channel jokes. I like mountains, but volcanoes are ash holes. I like that one. That one's fun. Cuff You, thank you so much for becoming a member. Shout out to you. Cuff You, thank you, thank you. I saw that you asked about the Discord. I'll make sure I post the members Discord in the community wall. Pika, if you can remind me later if you're in, just remind me because I might forget. You know how I am. ADHD and unmedicated. I'd be forgetting stuff. Cash, oh my goodness. Shout out to Cash, 43-month member. Shout out to Cash. Thank you, Cash. Cash, I did not shout you out last time. For your milestone. Thank you so much for your 43 months. You've been a long time member. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Cash. All right, beautiful people. I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go and do some stuff. I appreciate everybody. Love y'all. Thank you guys for joining me. I really miss the morning lives. I gotta do more like morning lives because the evening lives, I'd be tired and just tired. But we gotta do more morning lives. I like it. Energy's at a different level. Coffee hits, you know. Everything's good. You guys have a great one. Thank you so much for joining me. Hit the like and hype. Bye, guys. And shout out to those that supported. Thank you so much for the Venmo. I'm definitely going to get me some coffee. We got to get some coffee. Definitely. All right. Bye, guys. Bye, bye, bye.